In the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, the air was thick with tension as the speaker projected a giant hologram of a dying star, its fiery mass twisting violently in space. Around the table sat representatives of dozens of advanced species, each one grim-faced as the speaker explained the mission: a rescue deep inside the Maelstrom Zone, a region where gravity storms shattered fleets and time itself seemed to warp. Every species had lost ships there, their best captains swallowed by the chaos, never to return. When the briefing ended, silence gripped the hall. No one dared to volunteer. Then, breaking the stillness, Captain Elias Ward of Earth leaned back in his chair and asked with a calm, almost amused tone, "Is that it?" Gasps rippled through the assembly. The Kaithari delegate muttered that humans were insane, while others exchanged looks of disbelief. But Elias's crew, standing behind him, only grinned as if someone had just offered them a friendly wager. The council, cornered by desperation, handed over the sealed coordinates, already convinced this human team would vanish like the rest. Yet as Elias studied the mission data, his eyes carried no fear, only a sharp, calculating light, as though he'd just been invited to play his favorite game. The Vanguard roared into the Maelstrom Zone, its reinforced hull groaning under the crushing pull of twisted gravity currents that bent starlight into spirals. Around them, fragments of shattered moons tumbled like slow-motion avalanches, and electric storms flashed bright enough to blind unshielded eyes. Alien observers, watching from far outside the storm's reach, waited for the moment the humans would turn back, but that moment never came. Captain Elias Ward stood at the command station, reading the chaos like a map, while Lieutenant Mara's hands danced over the controls, adjusting thrusters in perfect timing with the shifting forces. Where others saw death, they saw patterns, riding gravity waves, the way a surfer rides an ocean's swell. Massive asteroid shards brushed past their hull, missing by mere meters, but the crew moved with calm precision, treating each close call as part of the plan. "She's just showing off," Mara said with a smirk, rerouting power to shield arrays as lightning clawed across their bow. The deeper they went, the more violent the storm became, yet the humans seemed to thrive in it, their laughter and quick commands echoing through the bridge. For them, the Maelstrom was not a death trap, it was an invitation. Through the swirling chaos of the Maelstrom, the silhouette of an ancient structure emerged, its once proud frame battered and scarred by decades of storms. The Vanguard's scanners confirmed it: the lost research station, last heard from 23 years ago, drifting on the edge of collapse. Its shields flickered weakly, barely holding back the crushing forces around it, and faint pulses from a damaged distress beacon reached the human crew like the heartbeat of something almost dead. As the docking clamps locked in place, the station's corridors greeted them with stale, metallic air and dim emergency lights that cast long shadows across cracked walls. Moving cautiously, weapons ready, Elias and his team navigated the silent halls until they found them survivors. They were thin, pale, and wide-eyed, as if they couldn't decide whether the humans were real or another cruel hallucination. The station commander, voice hoarse from years of recycled air, warned them of a danger that haunted the storm: a massive, living shadow that had destroyed every other rescue attempt. "It waits," he whispered, "and it remembers." The words sent a cold weight into the air, but Elias's gaze remained steady, his mind already forming a plan. They had hours at most before the unstable star nearby tore the station apart, and now there was the predator to consider. Most would have seen this as the moment to abandon hope, but for the humans, it was just another turn in the game. Elias ordered immediate evacuation preparations, his crew moving with sharp, practiced efficiency. Outside, the Maelstrom's winds howled against the station's hull, as if sensing the human ship's arrival, and deep within the storm, something vast began to stir. As the Vanguard undocked with the rescued survivors aboard, the ship's sensors caught movement in the storm: not the random pull of gravity, but something alive, immense, and deliberate. From the swirling chaos emerged a creature the size of a dreadnought, its form shifting between matter and energy, glowing veins pulsing like lightning under its dark skin. It moved with the currents of the Maelstrom as if it owned them, circling the human vessel with predatory grace. The alien survivors froze in terror, whispering that this was the storm's hunter, the very thing that had devoured every ship before them. When the creature lunged, its tendrils lashing toward the hull, Elias didn't order retreat instead. He pushed the vanguard deeper into the storm's heart. The monster followed, drawn by the chase, until Mara overcharged the engines and caught a massive gravity surge. With perfect timing, they rode the waves straight through a collapsing asteroid field, the currents smashing the creature into tumbling rock. The shockwave lit the storm like a supernova, and when the debris cleared, the predator was gone. The crew was silent for a moment, then grinned, not in relief, but in satisfaction, as if they had just beaten the maelstrom at its own game. When the vanguard emerged from the maelstrom, battered but intact, towing the station's survivors, the Galactic Council chamber fell into a stunned silence. For days, the alien delegates had monitored the mission feed, certain the humans would vanish like all others who dared enter the storm. Instead, they now watched Captain Elias Ward stride into the chamber with the rescued crew's manifest in hand, placing it gently on the central table. "Mission complete," he said simply, his voice steady, without any trace of boasting. The council members exchanged glances, part disbelief, part reluctant admiration. The Cathari delegate, who had called the mission hopeless, avoided Elias's eyes, while others began to realize they were witnessing something that would shift the balance of reputation in the galaxy. The humans had not only faced the maelstrom, they had outmaneuvered its deadliest predator and returned ahead of schedule. News of their success spread through the outer systems within hours, turning impossible into a word that suddenly felt negotiable. In the weeks that followed, the Council quietly changed its approach. Tasks too dangerous, too unpredictable, or too costly in lives no longer sparked debate. They were sent directly to human crews. And far from the glittering spires of the Council's capital, aboard the Vanguard, Elias received his next sealed mission orders. He broke the seal, scanned the details, and a faint smile tugged at his lips. Another crisis, another challenge no one else dared to touch. He turned to his crew, their faces already lit with anticipation, and said the same words that had started it all. "Is that it?" Somewhere in the cold void, the game was waiting and humanity was ready to play again.